Well, hello everybody. It's me, Zalakai again, and I am here for the second episode of Gaming Tales. I meant to do this last week, but I am very busy between my job and, having two kids and a wife. So I finally got a little bit of time today, and I wanted to do the second part. And yes, I am going to move my chair back and forth, even if that's annoying, because, it's a bad habit of mine. Anyway, so I was trying to decide what games to talk about or game, and originally I was gonna do Elder Scrolls Oblivion. I don't know if I said that in the last video because it's one of my favorite games of all time. But I actually was thinking, for some reason, I just started thinking about Super Nintendo side-scrolling shooters, and figured I would just do a quick rundown of a couple of the games that I used to play a lot, which include four that I will be talking about today. So I'm just going to quickly go over the first one, which was a game called Supernova. And in Supernova, you start off by choosing like what color ship you want, and depending on the color of your ship, it changes the weapon loadout and stuff. And it was fun. Me and my friend Josh used to play it, but it was single player, so it was die pass. Is that's how we used to play games way back in the day. Um, and we played it a bit. It wasn't the one that we played the most. Then the next game I wanted to talk about is a game called Phalanx, and I don't know if you've ever seen the cover art for the game, but an old guy with a banjo sitting there as there's like a star flying across the sky does not tell you that the game's going to be a side-scrolling shooter. And the name Phalanx doesn't really make much sense because that is a military position where it's a shield position. So, or if I'm getting that wrong, maybe it's a term for like a military force, but anyways, so in that game, I think that one probably looked the best and had some pretty good music. It was hard as hell. Um, I remember only making it like 4 or 5 stages in, and then constantly game overing and having to restart. It was fun. Again, not the one I'll spend a lot of detail on. Then the third game, which I don't know if it's pronounced Gradius or Gradius. We always pronounce it Gradius at my house. Gradius 3. And that one was a lot of fun. But you always went in customizing your ship because, first off, the shields versus the force field, always go with the force field because that covers your backside too, not just your front. And then you would choose what was it, like double spread missiles, where you get the missiles that shoot up and down at the same time. um and then of course that one, I've never beaten Gradius 3, but I did get quite a few levels in. I did play it more recently. The other two games I haven't played for a long time, mainly because I don't have them anymore, but I still have my copy of Gradius 3. And it was something that me and my brothers used to play, die pass sort of situation, because way back in the day, we all just shared one console and took turns. And it was good time, good fun. And the final game I wanted to talk about today is Darius Twin. And Darius Twin was probably the most fun SNES side-scrolling shooter that we played because it was co-op. And my friend Josh and I were very, very good at the game because it was all about synchronicity. When you're playing it, yeah, you could screw each other over by stealing all the power ups, but if you really wanted to do this well, you got to work as a team. So you would make sure to bounce between who gets what power ups to make sure you're okay, make sure that whoever's got less shields picks up the shield buff, and you just work together. And that game, we played it a lot, and we would get to the final stage where the game just became brutal, where you had to go through the boss rush. And I just remember, I believe was I don't think it was the octopus. I think it might have been the Nautilus. One of the bosses shot out these like half moons that spin, and they were so freaking hard to dodge that we would just keep dying, especially as more enemies would fly through. They made that final stage ridiculous. but it was a lot of fun. And definitely, if you're wanting to play an SNES shooter with a friend, Darius Twin is where it's at. Um, but if you wanted to play other games, solo, if you want a real challenge, Supernova and Phalanx are both really good. Gradius 3 is a little bit more of a medium difficulty. It's sort of like you memorize the pattern of each stage rather than just simply reacting. And Darius Twin, you fly through those stages and have fun. The one thing I never really understood was why all the bosses were fish themed. Um, I mean, I guess the aliens from whatever that planet was really were into having fish ships because you would fly around and, the first bosses of the game were literally like trout. And then you would start fighting like crabs and shrimp, and it got a little ridiculous. The seahorse boss was tough as if you didn't know his movements. Um, but yeah, I didn't talk about Star Fox today, even though that is, it's not it's more of a, I guess you could call it like a flight simulator. It is definitely a shooter, but it's more, forward moving rather than side scrolling, and that will definitely have its own video at another time. But yeah, that's it for today, and I will try to do this on a weekly basis. Just, things between work and kids and family kind of gets tough, but I'll do my best. See you next week.